Thousands of people are queuing at the Union buildings in Pretoria in South Africa for a second day to pay their respects to Nelson Mandela. Meanwhile, the sign language interpreter at his memorial service is claiming a schizophrenic episode was to blame for him signing nonsense during the entire service. He was branded a fake after members of South Africa's deaf community said his signing on Tuesday amounted to nothing more than flapping his arms around.
In South Africa, we have many deaf people. And we know that there are many deaf people who maybe use different signs. But there's no sign language for Afrikaans, or for Zulu, or for Xhosa, or for Sotho, or for Indibele. No, when we all come together, we use one South African sign language.
But he says he lost concentration, started hearing voices and hallucinating. Well, joining us now to discuss this in more detail is Michelle Stark and her interpreter Cindy Cave from Deaf Services Queensland. Now, Michelle, what do you make of this story? If nothing else, it's certainly brought into focus the needs of the deaf community around the world, hasn't it?
Absolutely. It has raised the issue of access again for the deaf community, but I guess the other thing that it has done is raised the need to have accredited and professional interpreters available at these events.
How does that process work, accreditation?
Well, in Australia we have a body called the National Accreditation Authority for Translators and Interpreters, NAATI, and they accredit both spoken and sign language interpreters. And so to become an accredited interpreter, you either do a course at TAFE or at university, or you can sit the test directly and then you receive accreditation.
There was some suggestion early on with the confusion about this gentleman that perhaps he was signing a specific sign language that differed to many others. There are many types, aren't there?
There are. Countries all around the world have their own sign language, and I guess, though, that sign languages have an underlying grammatical structure that is very similar across languages. So when I initially saw it, I don't know South African Sign Language, but I could pick that there were some of those grammatical features missing from his signing.
Do you think the fact that it wasn't 100% correct for an event such as important as this one, do you think that's disrespectful for the deaf community?
Yes, absolutely. I think it raises a number of issues. Firstly, that the South African deaf community missed out on accessing an event that was important nationally and internationally for them. It also draws attention to the language for all of the wrong reasons. And I think globally, sign language interpreters as professionals work very closely with deaf communities to make sure that events like this have got interpreters provided, and there's concern that this event has put that in jeopardy.
And I mean, you yourself, you interpreted during the Brisbane floods and had to explain very important information, as the then Premier Anna Bligh explained, and became quite emotional. How does that feel, that pressure, for someone like yourself?
It's not something that we do every day, so everyday interpreting, is out in the community, so something like that is not a usual event, so there's a great deal of pressure on us to perform and to perform well, and it's live, so there is no second chance at getting it right.
What would you like to see happen in the future at big international events such as these to better service the deaf community?
To have professional interpreters provided, and I think that most events that have interpreters provided, they do have professional interpreters provided. It's just that on this occasion, that wasn't the case.